Welcome to Real Estate Talk. We're tackling your questions about real estate. Today's question is, how do I save for a house? So Courtney, first figure out how much you need to save for a house. I think
Of
it's
course.
the starting point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's, average price of the homes that you're looking at. Use a mortgage calculator to estimate the down payment, and not just the down payment, but what the monthly payment is. We mentioned before, there's so many great tools. We'll link to some of those in the show notes too, and play around with the calculator. This is something, Courtney, I don't know if you're like me, but like I do this all the time.
All the time.
I'm so interested in sort of what a price point means for those monthly payments. And if you slide down the down payment amount, how does that impact the payment? The short answer to that, by the way, is the less you put down, the higher the monthly payment's going to be because of the way that the mortgage payment is amortized. So again, we'll link some of those calculators in the notes, but that's a good starting place.
Definitely. And I think the second place is look at your credit situation. This is probably the scariest part for most people, okay? Most of us, we're going to need a mortgage in order to buy a house, and lenders are going to look at your credit along with your income and other financial documents to decide how much they're willing to lend you. Do not count yourself out before the game starts, guys. Don't count yourself out because you have a low credit score. Many lenders have programs for people who are working to repair their credit, or maybe they have very little credit. Get pre-approved to see how your credit could affect your mortgage approval. Ways to improve your credit score: pay your bills on time, keep credit card balances low, avoid applying for new credit unless absolutely necessary. Make sure your credit report doesn't have any errors. And here's the deal. If you're like, oh my gosh, this seems overwhelming, where you start is you just connect with the lender and start asking them questions and applying for pre-approval. They're the experts and they want to lend you money. They're going to figure out how to help you get there, okay? Once you know how much money you need, okay, for a home and where your credit stands, then you can get serious about saving. So now, where do you start? How do you start? Joe, what are your top tips for saving for a home? What do you usually tell clients?
Okay, so this is set up by the fact that you have a general idea of how much you want to save for the house, because that's what we just got done talking about. And the reason I say generally is because you don't have to get it exactly right here. It's more important that you get into the process of saving for it. So I have two things. The first thing is to just start getting into the habit of saving money per paycheck that's set aside specifically for this purpose, where I like to think that, and everybody's situation is different, you feel it a little bit less when it just becomes part of what's withdrawn from your paycheck versus you get the whole check and then you basically have to take $200 and set it aside after the fact. Whereas if it's already just a part of your process where that happens almost automatically, I think it's just easier that way. And then you can start to see that grow, whether that's, an interest-bearing account, even better. But if it's just pure savings, that's great. And then the second thing is, and this is a little bit newer, is once you narrow it down a little bit, you can actually use tools like ChatGPT to really have a conversation about this. Now, the reason we're smiling is because some people might be completely uncomfortable getting into details about their finances, and I would just be really careful there because who knows where the data actually goes. So I'm not making any sort of guarantees there. And my advice actually would be keep a little bit higher level, speak a little bit more hypothetically or just in broad terms about how much percentage-wise you should set aside versus getting into specific financial information. But I've been shocked at how accurate it can be to have a dialogue with an interface, so any language learning model, to actually get a sense for, hey, I've been setting aside 5% of my paycheck for the last 12 months, and I feel like I'm not making a lot of progress toward my goal. What should I change here? As a good example of a question that you could ask a language learning model.
That's really good, Joe. I didn't even think about the ChatGPT part of it, but it definitely can be useful. You stole my first tip, Joe.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Automating savings as much as you can is going to be crucial, right? So, if you're a W-2 employee, you can contact your payroll department and say, hey, I want you to take $200 and put it in this separate account and keep it separate from wherever the rest of your paycheck is going to pay your bills. And I think automation is key. I haven't personally used any of these services, but I do know that some banks have the service where you swipe your card and maybe it's, $10.58. They'll round that up to $11. And then they'll take that excess and automatically put it over to your savings. That's actually another way to automate it. Obviously, you can tweak the settings to make it more meaningful. So it's not necessarily cents, per transaction, but you can get a little creative there. I think about just making savings so easy. So like, for example, if you're a coffee drinker like me, okay, then maybe you say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start making my coffee at home. And what I would have spent going to Starbucks or Coffee Beat or whatever your local coffee shop is, I'm going to automatically transfer that to my savings, right? So you're exchanging, you still have the habit of drinking coffee, but you're making it yourself. That's actually going to add up. And I think sometimes people, they look at, oh my God, I need $10,000 to buy a home. And that seems so unreachable. But when you break it down and you're taking small steps weekly, monthly, it really does add up very, very quickly.
We have a previous episode on down payment assistance programs too. So even though that's a little bit down the road from where this question lands, I would also just start to research that too. Just again, you're working towards something. It might give you a little bit more confidence going forward that there's other options for you. But Courtney, I think in this whole episode, the thing I would underscore the most is what you had said earlier, which was do not count yourself out. And if you have partners like your agent where you feel like you're getting the runaround or from a lender where they're not going to be with you on this journey of trying to get to the point where you're able to do that, you have the wrong agent or lender. You need to find a good partner throughout this where you're not talking to them every day, but certainly from time to time, you can check in on your progress and see what the market's doing. And we're interested in clients for life. So you should be too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The last thing, Joe, I have a soft spot for my entrepreneurial people. Okay. Maybe you're 1099, maybe you're running a business and you're not necessarily paying yourself yet. Okay.
Yeah.
There are ways to get creative so that you can still save even while you build your business. That might look like a couple of things. That might look like you starting to actually pay yourself just a little bit, right? Or it also might look like tapping into other ways to invest. So, for example, you're looking at your retirement accounts and talking to your CPA or your financial planner. There might be some other mechanisms that are not so conventional that will still allow you to save and eventually purchase a home. So.
Yeah, that's really great advice too, Courtney. I mean, one small example, I'm not a CPA. I'm not giving financial advice here too, but contributions, that's really important on this one. The contributions you make towards some of those programs can be withdrawn at any time. So you always hear about the tax implications of when you take the money out at a later date, like a retirement date. That is true for the entire amount, but for the contributions you've made, you can take those out at any time.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Well, awesome episode, Joe. Thank you so much for your tips. We'll provide you, our audience, with more information in the description below. And we'll be back with another episode to help you navigate this big world of real estate. Let us know in the comments what questions you'd like us to answer in the future. And be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And we will see you next time. Thanks again, guys. Bye.